And we're live. Hello, everyone. This is Chelsea Franklin, Remax Alliance. I'm here with Casey Clement with Zenith Home Loans. Casey and I are neighbors, and it's really fun to work together because we can party together and then work together.
Right, always a plus.
Yeah.
Have good fun.
Pretty fun though, but we wanted to jump on and talk about some objections that we're hearing in the market. Maybe talk a little bit about first-time home buyers, how can you buy your first house, grant programs, etc.
Yeah, right. I mean, thanks. I'm really excited to be able to jump on and chat with you. I know we talk about this all the time. Is some of the objections we hear from people, I just can't afford a house right now. I can't afford a monthly payment. I can't afford a down payment. I need to save longer. I need to wait.
Yeah.
Right? Someone says, you know what, I'll wait, I'll save for a year, and I'll buy a home in a year.
Yeah. Get that one a lot.
Yeah, all the time. So what we want to do is we want to try to work with people and say, hey, let's take a look at what your goals are realistically. Let's look at what your situation is now. Maybe we look at a low down payment program. We've got a home ready program where you can put as little as 3% down. 20% down is not the normal thing anymore. You do not have to have 20% down. Right?
Yeah. Right.
That can be 3% down. We can couple that then too with some down payment assistance programs. What we've got is CHAFA, Colorado Housing Finance Authority, or Metro Down Payment Assistance. Either one gives us a couple options to work with to help cover that gap where you still have to contribute a little bit depending on the program, but much more manageable for someone to get into that home now and try to continue to gain wealth over that time. You say a year from now. Well, I mean, what's your experience in the last couple of years in the Denver housing market? How have you seen home values improve?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously inclining and everyone's expecting it to level off at some point. No one can predict the future though, but I'm also licensed in Oklahoma, which is a very level market. I mean, I'm licensed there just for my own investment purposes, but that's a market that appreciates 1 or 2%. But like, let's just say Colorado levels off to what the rest of the Midwestern states are doing.
Yeah,
it's time value of money. It's like you just live in it, pay mortgage, you're paying down a note, claiming depreciation. Homeownership is wonderful.
It is, and so you take that option coupled with that down payment assistance, then all of a sudden you're now making money on that home, right?
Yeah.
So what we try to do is say, hey, instead of paying rent to some other homeowner and paying their mortgage so that they can make money long term, let's look at what we can do to get them in and start to create wealth for themselves and try and raise that net worth over time, right? Even 1 to 2% on $300,000.
Yeah.
It's a significant amount of money each year.
Yeah, definitely. Before we jumped on here, you said something really interesting about how the average rent in Denver for what square feet, like 800 square feet, was $1,600.
Exactly. In March, average rent $1,602 for an 850 square foot.
That's so little.
Right? So that's great. That's what someone might be used to.
Yeah.
You're paying someone else. So let's look at options, what we can do to get you in. And so we want to try to educate people and say, hey, this is something that we can do to help you get in there. And you know how much $1,600 gets you?
What?
That's about a $300,000 house.
Hey,
that's likely
we can find you something pretty nice. Definitely.
So that is something that we can look at being affordable for that person that's paying that same amount in rent.
Yeah, that's so great. That's awesome. Yeah, for paying down, I mean, whether you stay in it for a couple years, 5 years, I think once somebody turns around and sells it or throws a tenant in it, would be very excited about where they took their portfolio.
Absolutely. So that's the goal, is look at what you can possibly do. Talk to someone, talk to Chelsea, talk to a realtor, talk to anybody, just to learn more about what your options are before you rule it out and say, I can't afford this.
Yeah. One objection that I get with these down payment assistance programs is that the interest rate is just so high. How do you handle that one?
The funny thing is most of those programs don't have an interest rate, right?
Oh.
So you're essentially getting, I mean, there are qualifications, right? We have to fit within a certain income limit. It's over 6 figures, right? Both
Okay.
programs. So a lot of people fit within that income limit. It depends on where you live, but there are a couple factors that go in there. But that money you're getting can be 0% interest. There's different programs where, you know, maybe you sell your home in the future, you have to pay that back, but you haven't paid any interest on that borrowed money. Or there's programs where different amounts of money can be given without any payback. You're essentially given a grant where you've got this money and can put that towards your down payment. So there are options to get into a home for very, very little money down.
Yeah, I love it. Well, and then loans, it's all customized to each individual client. So it's really hard to be like, this is what we can give you because it's all based off your income, step to income.
Exactly. It's always worth it to ask the question. You don't know the answer if you don't ask. And so that's the goal, right? Is to jump on here and say, hey, here's a couple things that you can think about that really we can do. And you're not going to be limited by that.
Yeah. Another thing, I do get that a lot where I'm just going to save for a year and wait to buy next year. But I still think that our market's not leveling off for another couple years. So by the time you're saving, waiting to buy this property that you think is going to be bigger and better, it might be increasing in value. And then, you know, in a year's time, we're going to spend more money on the same house.
Yeah, you bring up a great point. What we go through is we look at, and I think I've shown you this before, is our cost of waiting analysis, right? And we say, hey, if the market, say it even starts to level out a little bit, all right, well, let's look at what your monthly payment is now and what you can afford now and what that looks like a year from now.
Yeah.
And you're not going to be able to afford the same house, right? Yeah. So you might as well gain that wealth in your home versus waiting, and then you're buying less home.
Yeah. Oh, interesting thing. Yeah.
Right.
The versus rent analysis that you've sent me are fantastic. Anybody, I'm going to link all of your contact information to this video and my blog so that they can reach out to you and you can put together spreadsheets for them. It's really amazing.
Sure, and to this, I'll go ahead and throw that in the comments too, where you can look and see realistically what that looks like from now 6 months, 12 months, 18 months down the road.
Yeah, it's exciting. We love it. Well, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate talking to you.
Absolutely, anytime. It's always nice to be able to talk about something you're passionate about. So I'm always happy to help people out.
Yep, so good. All right, have a wonderful day.
Absolutely, you too. Thanks.
Thanks, bye.